Okay, it's 5 o'clock. We're gonna open our meeting. This is the zoning meeting for a variance. Is that what it's called?
Yeah. Well, not a variance, but
Rezoning,
What is it?
your rezoning.
Proposed change to properties from residential to commercial zoning status for conditional use permit.
it's a
Okay.
conditional use.
Yeah, okay. So, last time when we were mistakenly having the meeting, we had
You're welcome.
Donna and Mike Ramey were here, and they, you were here, present, you were present, you were present. David, you were present, you were not, and you weren't, but Pam was, and I was, and so we listened to her concerns. So we all know where that is. She can't be here tonight because she has COVID. So, I got a letter from Judy Shelton. Did you read it? You weren't here, okay. Oh, yes, excuse me, we do, don't we? We're gonna open the, no, I did.
Oh, we
No,
did.
the public hearing.
Public hearing.
Public hearing. We're gonna open the public hearing. Welcome to our guest, TJ, and I'm sorry,
I'm Corey.
Corey.
I'm Marcia Yoakum, Donna's neighbor.
Okay, so you live down in that area also?
Yes.
So, okay. So, I'm sorry, we're open now. And so this is a letter from one of the residents there. Do we have to read this out loud, or no? We just put it, okay.
I don't-
So, we'll open it up if anybody has anything to say. Is that right? Okay. TJ, do you want to tell us what your thoughts are?
Sure. The reason why I want to buy the lots is because we just moved back to St. John. I just bought a house. We just bought a house north of those lots on Monroe Street, and I'm wanting to start a used car and truck lot.
Okay. On these proposed properties?
Yep.
Okay. And that's why you're requesting the change?
When you say truck lot, what do you mean in truck?
Like pickups.
Okay, like picking up cars.
Mhm.
So what else would be considered used vehicle or used for the car lot or truck lot? What other items could that be? Could that be a trailer house? Could it be a boat? Could it be a camper?
No, I'm mainly just wanting to do automotive pickups, like enclosed trailers, some farm trailers, things like that, farm equipment and things like that.
So typical, maybe, I won't say typical, that's not a good word, for used vehicle lot. So that would encompass quite a few things potentially.
Yes.
Like you said, trailers, what about equipment, stuff like that?
Yeah. When I say equipment, I'm talking like things people can use on farms and.
Well, we aren't talking big equipment, we're not talking tractor, combine, anything that size, are we?
Right. Right.
Okay.
And you're wanting to put a building up too?
Yes, that's the plan.
What size would that be?
I haven't figured out how big of a building I want to put up yet.
So we don't know what that would consist of yet, what the building would be.
Correct.
Okay, so would there be, are you thinking about a shop inside the building for,
Yeah, I'm thinking more towards like somewhere where I can have my office, and then a place big enough that I could, pull a couple vehicles at a time and work on them and things like that.
so how do you go about getting started with that as far as, I've got 5 trucks I know I've got, or do I have certain equipment I already have lined up? I'm just curious how you kind of get started in that type of business.
Well, the first thing I have to do is get some commercial property
Yep.
to even obtain my license.
Okay. And typically, what's a license take to get the license?
Probably a couple months, but with COVID and everything, it's,
Does that come from the state?
yep.
Okay, so is that through Department of Motor Vehicles? Where's that come from?
I believe so.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Like how many vehicles are you talking at a time down? I mean, equipment, like farm equipment, I mean, 5 tractors, discs, 10
Probably,
cars, or?
eventually I'd like to get 10 or 15 items at a time, probably. Obviously, getting started, it's not gonna be near that many.
Right.
But
Yeah. What do you anticipate about traffic in and out of there coming through, or?
see, that's, I don't anticipate a lot of traffic, and the reason why I've been asked more than once, why wouldn't you just want it on the highway? The reason for that is because most things sell online anymore. So I don't see an issue with that, and as far as I'm concerned, the people that are gonna be coming to look to see what I have are people that have most likely already contacted me, and they're coming to see what's available. So I don't anticipate lots of truck and car traffic.
So you get the zone rezoned or whatever, you build a building, and say 2-3 years down the line and don't work out, then what would we be doing with the property at that point?
I'm still gonna keep the property, because I live right down the street, so, it's got there's a little shed there on the far south property. I can't remember, there's 2 addresses there, which one it is,
Yeah,
but,
it's 2 different lots.
I'm also wanting to use that, building currently, because where we bought our house, there's not a big enough garage to park all my mowers and stuff in, so.
Is there anything on that, Jamie, about with fencing involved with that at all? I mean, is there something that's required?
You guys can put those stipulations on it. I know when Clausen's went through, I was not here. I think that was right when about the time I started. When Clausen's got their building, the zoning board had required a fence around their
Around
entire.
Because he was gonna
Okay.
store vehicles outside.
Yeah,
Right.
So then who's left to enforce that, Jamie, if something's not in compliance? Who?
Me, I guess.
No.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, if
This
it's.
this has been an issue for a long time. Nobody
Right.
knows who enforces the rules of the,
Yeah, I mean, we haven't done a lot of the zoning stuff. I mean, we had the one issue with the fence down there, and I tried to do what I could,
But the city council has the final say.
right. So,
Okay.
so do you have maybe you have an idea or a plan? You don't have anything on paper that shows what the building would look like, what the property would look like on and off the street and things like that?
No, I don't.
So you're waiting to file for the licensing if this works out or
Correct.
something at that point, I see.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
excuse me.
the south lot that runs where the little building is in the trailer, that whole half block or whatever we call it, right? That's where you're wanting to put your business?
Yes.
Okay, then you come back across the street and we have Judy Shelton, right? On the corner. And then the lot behind, or that section behind it, is he buying that too?
it's both properties.
Yes.
And what's your plans for that if
So-
we rezone it?
So the one behind it, which would be
It's
this,
to the north.
To the north,
Not the trailer house, the 2 lots together, but the one to the north of that.
okay, on the north side?
Yeah.
yeah, that half block,
Okay,
yeah.
so what I wanted to do, so where that junky trailer's at,
Uh-huh,
is take the trailer out,
right,
and put a building where, the, electric and sewer and everything's already at. And then, probably use that lot, area to park like my trailers and trucks and things like that. And across the street, I was wanting to, park my inventory.
okay, so the inventory's gonna be on the half lot, that's
The north half.
the north half. And then you're wanting to just use that other for your personal outside storage stuff,
And the building and, yeah.
okay.
And I wanna redo that little shed and put a new roof on it and paint it and things like that and make it look nice.
Okay.
So fencing from the street or something, could be a real possibility, yeah.
Yeah,
Help that
and a lot of
neighborhood a
the,
little bit with,
right, and a lot of the
privacy
code, it
and-
does say that there's no outside storage, so
right,
having the fence would help with
okay,
that.
okay.
Would you like to speak, Marcia?
I have, Donna sent me notes on what she said last time, and I can tell you those if you want me
Okay, go ahead.
to. Okay, and then I also had a question about the lot that's across the street from where the trailer house is an actual, on the actual block of houses, right?
Right, that's,
That's
Yes.
residential, why would
They're
you
both
ever rezone
They're both
that?
residential.
I know that they both are, but at least that one's like over by the mill, you
Right,
know,
right.
and not right next to somebody's house or right behind somebody's house. Okay, sorry. Let's get back to this. She says it should stay residential because we don't live in a commercial zoned area. I would say that it messes up the value of our houses, which I believe to be true. If you have a place that's commercial right in the same block or next, you know, to your block, it's going to affect your value of your home. It could be noisy and nobody's just gonna wanna buy your house. She said the road maintenance was an issue that she brought up. Traffic of unknown people coming from out of town at different hours of the day. She pointed out that there are basically three single women. She's not single, but her husband's gone all the time. So basically 3 single women living on that block. And I guess I didn't know this, but she said that you have had some problems with theft in town and that this would be even worse if we had a lot of out-of-town traffic. I do know that the police came to my house about 6 months ago and asked if I had any cameras because they had had a problem with some theft across the street. And I think where you live in the little yellow house? Yeah, they had had some problem over there before you moved in, I'm assuming, because that's been
Yeah,
a
we
long
just
time.
moved.
We just
in.
moved this week.
But I didn't have a camera, so I wasn't very helpful. The last point she made, she said, was they wanting to do a special assessment, which means that it'll still be zoned for residential, but used for commercial. I agree the problem with that is the city doesn't back any of the zoning committee's items. So who's gonna enforce the rules, which you already talked about there. So,
One thing I know we talked about, which we're gonna put cameras at our house too, just because security wise, but we also talked about putting cameras, if it was turned over to TJ to put cameras down there for security, where we live 2 blocks away, if something's going on, it's not very hard for us to get there. We're literally, I think, 2 blocks from it, so we did talk about fencing and cameras.
I do know the county had, I don't know, I should've went up and got specifics, but the county did, somebody's wanting to put a trailer business in Stafford County, and I don't know.
That was out in the rural.
Out in the rural
Yeah.
community, and they were worried about traffic flow and all that too at that point, and the commissioners did reject that. Also just do with something to do with the flow of traffic, but I can't remember. I should've went and checked that out.
I haven't even heard that, I don't know.
It's been a while back.
Yeah, it's
I
been a
think,
while
is what
back.
We were told, but I don't know. I wasn't in on that either.
So,
we do have a problem with the road at the corner, right at the corner where my property is. It's that big dip where the water all goes in.
yeah.
And the road, I don't know, I think the water maybe it hurts the road, I think, or the maintenance just hasn't been kept up, but it's getting pretty bad there. And if we have bigger trucks and trailers and stuff coming in, it's gonna be an even bigger issue. So, and then Don was talking about the dirt road that's in front of the property and how much problem that might possibly be for the county or the city. I don't know who takes care of that road.
Well, yeah, It's-
Well,
the cities, but we have an agreement with Ohio Township that maintains it.
Does anybody have any further questions for anybody?
Donna said she would definitely be available if you have any questions that, or if I had any questions that I needed her help with, but
Do you have anything, David, since you live down there?
Yeah, Scott and Amy Constant, David, Martha Cutright, no change.
You want it left the way it is? That would be your, okay.
And I did go around and talk to some of the neighbors in the area. One lady said that she didn't care either way, but the other three I talked to, they said they really didn't want it zoned any other way.
Well, we're not rezoning it,
Well, I mean, whatever,
Yeah.
yeah,
making the changes.
making the changes.
I have another question. When I put my garage in, they sent out letters to, I don't know, 2 or 3 blocks around. They asked if it was okay if I built the garage. Why did I not ever get a letter saying, I didn't
It's
know,
200 feet, and
You're
you
up.
weren't in the 200 feet.
You're just
I'm
outside,
just outside?
yeah, because it's from the center of the property, right?
It'd be
I
for,
actually measured from the edge of the
Oh,
property.
okay.
Just,
I was still out.
just to be
Just-
safe.
Okay,
Right.
I go
But
from the
that's
edge.
Because the only way I knew about it was because Donna happened to be my neighbor.
Yeah, no, I go
so.
from the edge just in case someone says
Right.
that.
Cover
Right, and I did go,
face.
and I did go outside the 200 feet. I went
Right.
around the neighborhood and I talked to, not everybody, because with the
Right.
COVID, I didn't know who wanted to answer the door and who didn't want to answer the door.
Do you guys have anything? The way, and Jamie can help here, but we just make a recommendation to the city council. Jamie presents it, or I don't know.
Well, now it's different because Land Bank moved from city council, so I have to go from here to Land Bank to city council, I think.
Okay, well, anyway, whatever we recommend is only, it's presented to the land bank and the council, and then the final decision lies with them, if I understand it right.
That's the way I understand it.
So, and the next council meeting's next,
Tuesday.
a week from tonight, so
7th, right?
that's when it would be presented. So,
Thank you for your comment.
thank you for your comments. And so we're gonna close this part of the public hearing if y'all are done speaking. Okay,
You have anything else you want?
She stated that the north part was also where the housing is.
uh-huh,
And, if I had to just do everything on the south lot, which is borderline with the co-op, where there's a bunch of trucks anyway, I would have no problem. That's a pretty good sized lot anyway down there on just the south side. Just doing everything on that
One
lot
lot.
right there,
Okay.
on that one lot, so it wouldn't affect the bordering neighbors around the north lot if that's.
At harvest time, the trucks from the co-op go down one street across and then back another. They do not come down.
Right.
They
Ours
changed
changing
that
on.
we can't, yes.
Also, I will be hauling all the vehicles or whatever in with my pickup and trailer. So there's not gonna be outside trucks and things coming in. So, and yeah, I have no problem coming in from the south side by the co-op, coming in from the south side of town, so.
appreciate that. Anything else, anybody? Okay, then we'll close the public part of the meeting. So thank you all for coming.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for listening.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, do any of you have a feeling one way or another, or can we discuss?
My only concern is with the big equipment, like disc and tractors and being there in the city limits.
I was thinking you wind up with another lot that got a whole bunch of stuff parked on it, and some of it may move and some of it may not, and then you've got a shop going and they're working and Now you gotta get your equipment ready or your vehicles ready for sale and whatever, but I don't know. Seems like you got a lot of things coming and going.
I'm more with him on just having it on one lot and not on the residential side. Because the co-op's already on the south lots. It'd be backing up, and I don't know if we would want to build our house next to that mess, but
I just don't think, I mean, I think we can maybe make a recommendation, but he has to, if we make a recommendation that, yeah, this certain lot, but he still has to get licensed or permitted.
right.
And I don't know how long that takes with everything. I think we would want to see a drawing of what it's going to look like. I think that even calls for it in here
Right.
somewhere. So I think there's a lot of steps yet that have to happen before. And maybe the city would just say, well, we're good with giving them whatever, and then we'll see what happens. And then we know how some of that goes sometimes. Things don't get done that are going to get done, but we can't control that.
Because, I mean, I know we had an issue over here on the west side of town. We zoned it, and then they came in before the city council members and rezoned it different, right? Like at Marshall's, where we had put in there, you can't keep tires and all that crap out front, stuff out front. And then they rezoned it different, am I right?
Yeah, no, he put in a rezoning request.
Yeah, I know he did, but then when it went to the city council, they changed it, didn't they? They didn't?
They go with a
It was-
C2 or C?
It was
what that?
industrial,
It-
I think,
Maybe
if
that's
I'm
what
I
right.
switched it to industrial.
Okay.
But it never got cleaned up.
No,
I mean,
it looks
never
like
changed.
crap over there now.
Basically, him going to industrial law allows it to be out there.
Yeah, but we put stipulations. Yes, we did. The city didn't approve it then, because we put stipulations, they had to keep it cleaned up. We did.
Because that was a concern.
That was a concern.
Well, I appreciate the fact that you've got a young couple
Wanting to put a business.
come back here and wanting to do something positive. I think that's good. It's just, excuse me, I have a cold, I don't have COVID.
I know, I feel like we all should have our mask on.
Yeah. But anyway, I do appreciate that, and you hate to discourage that, but I just think there's a few more steps that need to be done. I don't know. If I was to make a recommendation, that would be, not now.
I'm more for a car lot, no big equipment. If you
Then
want
how do you
industrial,
control that?
I know, I don't think we need industrial equipment and semis and tractors and,
And that's what he does, though.
I know.
That's what he
And that's
does.
what will be parked down there.
Yeah.
I
that's
just don't
what
feel
it would
like
be.
that's what we need in St. John, in the residential area.
But it's under the guise of a used car lot, right? That's what
Well,
he's saying he
He
wants.
started out as a used car lot, and then it went to heavy
Farm
equipment and
equipment.
farm equipment and trucks.
So how does that change in your view, or does it change anything?
I mean, with the-
Are you asking my opinion? I think we have a housing problem, and we have a residential area that has opportunity and potential for someone to build possibly a house.
There, rather than,
So, I mean, I'm all for businesses and growth. I am 100% behind all of that, but we can have 10 businesses with 10 available jobs,
no place to live.
but no place to live. No one's gonna be able to fill those jobs. So, I see a lot of different aspects on it. I'm with you though, and it's a young couple trying to come back to town and do something. I do think the cart's before the horse, and there needs to be maybe more
Does
planning.
he drive a truck? Yeah, I know what he does.
I think he's a truck driver.
No, I thought he sold insurance.
Yeah, I think he sounded.
Did he tell us last
I
time
thought he
he
quit
got?
truck driving and
I
started
think he-
selling insurance. I thought that's what I said.
I don't know.
I can-
I
Fair
can't.
don't matter.
I personally feel like we really need to take into consideration what the neighbors how we would feel if we were, if that was us down there. I mean,
Well, I know the county commissioners, that was a 1-year use on that trailer sale, so that's all he wanted was a 1-year use. And they didn't approve it.
because the neighbors didn't want it.
Yeah, I don't know,
I don't
I
know
needed to
either.
go, I should've went to the courthouse and found out the whole. But it was out in it was out on the highway, and they didn't want something to do with the traffic flow, is the reason they were concerned. And I just don't feel like we got enough traffic down there with the elevator, and it's kinda limited to the south road down there by what's that street?
Hool. And
And
it's Hoole.
I call it hooey.
Okay. Hooley or Hool? What, is that how it's pronounced, David? Do you know?
Hooley.
Hooley?
So,
Okay. You pronounce it right
Well,
then.
he wouldn't be able to put very much on 2 lots anyways, though.
no, if he's
If
gonna
you
put,
put
if he's put a shop
A
on
shop and, because a shop takes almost the whole lot up. I mean, look at my house. The lot's almost gone. So you'd only be able to fit maybe 5 cars and a piece of equipment there.
I
How do we I mean, if we approve these changes, I mean, is that how we would say it? Proposed change of the properties. Do we put a stipulation on the time? Do we put a stipulation on he can
Who's
only have
gonna-
this and this, and then it goes right there?
doesn't all this info have to be filled out?
No, that's mine,
That's yours?
yeah.
Okay. There's a whole lot of stuff there.
Yeah.
But
It's not answer all those questions.
But you're saying like a drawing of what he's,
I think, you know, some type of the drawing or plans of what they want,
And I just don't think.
what do you
that
wanna,
they're even-
what do you wanna have?
I don't think we can put time stipulations on it, because I don't think he knows.
I would agree with that.
But he can't apply for the permits until,
Right, I'm just saying that you go along and you agree to do that, you make a recommendation, but as part of the recommendation, within a certain time frame, that has to be fenced,
Right.
or the building has to be erected. or,
and then what
you know,
happens when it doesn't?
That's
And
one of
Jamie
those
goes
run
down
into.
there and says, you're out of your time zone, you haven't done what you're supposed to. She presents it to him, and then what happens?
Well, this is gonna be a
Can't ever do
touchy
anything
situation though, because it's the land bank that owns it.
Well, that's the other thing I was gonna ask you, what can you fill us in
So,
there? that-
yeah, because, and that's partially, you know, the land bank has been doing a lot of work this last year or two with trying to acquire those properties and the dilapidated houses and tearing them down and making them accessible to other people. And that's why we sell the lots for $300, you know. So the land bank can even put stipulations on what they want to see. And the way that I understand it, it can be reverted back to the land
To the
bank
land
if
bank.
those stipulations aren't met.
So wouldn't it be good to know, or for us to know, what some of those stipulations or regulations are?
that's us.
That, yeah.
But we
So-
don't,
It's
The
just,
land
it's a
bank doesn't
hairy
have any
situation,
criteria?
right? It's complicated because the
we don't know
land
what he's
bank,
getting for permits either.
right, well, then the land bank technically owns it, but he doesn't want it unless he can do this.
But you're saying the land bank can take it back, so how do they take it back if they don't know what I mean, because we say, okay, we want a fence within 6 months.
Well, they would
And-
just approve that, and then that would be in this, like, the land bank doesn't wanna sell it without those stipulations known, so they can,
But we don't know if he's even gonna get the permits.
right.
That's why
That's
she's
what-
saying it's there's so many hoops, so many what ifs.
So we can put all
that-
these regulations on, then if he don't
Right.
get the
And
permits,
that's, yeah, that's,
so would it have to come back and would it stay commercial or would it go back to residential?
well, it's always gonna be residential, it's not moving
Okay.
to commercial.
See, that's where I get confused on that.
Yeah.
So even though he put the building there in the car lot, it's still considered residential?
It's just a special use, conditional use.
Special use permit. What do you think? Who's on first?
So, you guys got an opinion on? I mean, I hate for a young couple, like you said, to come back, want to start a business, but I don't think a residential area is the place to do it.
I just
That's
feel
my
like there's so many unknowns that it's gonna, I mean,
It's just gonna sit there.
it's gonna just, right. And then, even though we put all these stipulations, there's always gonna be the, well, I mean, not always, I take that back. There could be, well, I'm waiting on this permit. I can't do this till I do this. And I just feel like there's too many unknowns.
I mean, and Judy Shelton, she has her grandkids a lot. I mean, it could be her grandkids or her great-grandkids.
Well, it'd be her,
Nieces and
Nieces.
nieces a lot
And
down there and
yeah.
all that traffic. And
Mark, do you have anything?
Well, yeah, I just think that there could be a better place for that, but I don't know. Maybe he needs to talk to cousin Kevin out there and put it out with his irrigation thing or something.
Oh, yeah.
And be on the highway.
I think you do better on the highway anyways, having traffic come by and see it.
I mean, if nobody has any other discussion,
Okay.
concerns,
So do we make a
I will make a
recommendation?
motion that we don't accept the
Provisions?
provisions, just do the, I felt like farm equipment and big trucks down there. What neighbors I've talked to did not want that in their neighborhood. More than, I had only one person that said she didn't care. The rest of them didn't want it in their neighborhood. And the letter we got and other neighbors that we've talked, concerns, I just feel like it's not, I think we need to leave it residential for housing. I'll make a motion.
We have a motion, do we have a second to leave it the way
I'll
it
second
is?
it.
Motion made by Alvin, seconded by Craig. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Okay, 5 to nothing. Okay,
That's good.
so then now, okay, so now, any other business? Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none.
We're not gonna have another meeting for me.